Winter has made this forest into a mineral landscape. Gloomy months dominated by the cold seem to have fossilized the traces of life on the face of the earth. It is a hard time for everyone, and definitely a cruel one for the weakest. But something is beginning to change. Although the frosts and mists persist, an amazing transformation is being set in motion due to the light of the lengthening days. The spring revolution has begun. Spring, the return of life. At first, it is a timid, uncertain movement, gliding in through a still bare forest. Except for the almond trees, the first brave trees of the plant world to have challenged the winter when they were still in their icy splendor. The plants and animals seem to be waiting for the other great ally in this uprising of life against winter. Water. The melting of the mountain tops joins together with the rain to bring the music of life to the streams and gullies of this Mediterranean forest, which is about to start a new cycle consisting of infinite shapes. The Nat Jack Toads come out from their hiding places, where they have spent the winter to one of the pools which have just formed in order to reproduce. Despite his phlegmatic attitude, the red mark sported by the male betrays what is now his only goal, that of finding a mate. He will need to be both persuasive and fast, as many others have come to this pool with the same intention, to embrace a female. The male may spend the whole night perched on the back of the female, which has accepted him as a father. This pair is lucky that no other excited companion is bothering them, especially her, because on occasions several males pounce onto the same female and sometimes drown her. While she deposits a row of hundreds of eggs in the water, he fertilizes them. The Viperin snakes also like water and embracing each other passionately. These first days of spring have woken them from their slumber with two pressing needs: to feed after months of winter fasting and to find a mate. They will find both things in the watercourses which run through the forest. When they finally meet, the male and female begin to brush one another's bodies, stimulating each other. These snakes do not have fangs or venom, so the lines which run along their bodies and the triangular shape of their heads are their form of defense. Both characteristics mean they resemble the highly poisonous viper, confusing their predators. The courtship of the Viperin snakes ends with their bodies tightly intertwined. Intertwining of necks in this case is also a sign that the flamingos are courting. As is the changing colour of their plumage, which takes on an intense pink shade during these days. They have arrived from their wintering places in Africa to settle in areas where water is plentiful. find food, a mate, and a place to build their volcano-shaped nests with mud and straw. They do so, forming large colonies in the shelter of islands and other places which are inaccessible for predators. The considerable height of these mud protuberances protects the eggs from possible rises in the level of the water. The flamingos share the abundance of these wetlands with many other species of birds, such as the purple swamp hens. Their whole appearance reminds us of their distant ancestors, the dinosaurs. Their long fingers are the best allies for surviving in these areas. Thanks to them, they can walk along the banks and over the aquatic plants without difficulty. Moreover, they use them to capture the plants they feed on with amazing skill. Water is also a tool which plays a part in the love life of the common Chiff Chaff. The male, which has fiercely defended this territory, strives to convince his possible mate by boasting of his fine appearance and his voice. But he does not want to leave anything to chance, so he sets out to capture the mosquitoes, larvae, and other insects which abound near the stream. They will be a succulent love gift for his mate. Winning over the female through her stomach is something that the bee-eater also does. The abundance of these presents finally convinces the female that she has a good hunter before her, and therefore a suitable candidate for fatherhood. The punctilious female also focuses on other qualities in her suitor, in this case physical ones. She must find it impossible to resist the intensity acquired during the mating season by the varied colours which adorn the plumage of the male. The oscillated lizards prefer to turn love into a game, which is somewhat violent in appearance. But before thinking of love, they will still require several hours for the sun to warm their blood and activate their muscles. These reptiles endemic of Mediterranean ecosystems will spend the spring chasing, biting and hitting each other until the moment comes to consummate the relationship. When summer finally arrives, the female will look for a good hiding place to lay her eggs, leaving them to their fate. After love, the bee-eaters have the responsibility of finding a good place to raise their offspring. Both of them get busy and dig a tunnel on the slopes and inclines of the terrain they share with other pairs, turning them into something like an apartment building for bee-eaters. Despite choosing places with sand or loose soil, opening up this apartment in the colony is hard work which wears away their beaks. However, in return, it guarantees them an ideal place to incubate and bring up the next generation of bee-eaters. These caves can reach 2 meters in depth, with a small chamber at the end where the chicks will be born and take refuge. The nuthatch does not dig the hole where it nests. In contrast, it selects natural holes or ones built by other birds. What it does do is add mud to the entrance of the chosen hole, limiting it to its smaller size. This prevents the entry of potential predators. Its strong legs and nails allow it to get through the trunks where it finds the food, even when upside down. In the shelter of the deep valleys and gorges, where the sound of the water giving them their energy back brims over, the parrot trees begin to blossom. These trees come from a line of true fighters, as their ancestors thrived 30 million years ago. Today, they still survive in shady and humid areas in small groups in this corner of Western Europe, like a treasure from the history of trees on our planet. At their feet, a gust of wind, an unexpected movement of the mere heat of the sun, may produce another of the miracles that only spring is capable of bringing about. Pioneer broteri, one of the most beautiful flowers in this forest, provides a large amount of pollen for the multitude of insects which approach it, attracted by its bright colour and the promise of abundant food. As well as their large and comfortable crowns, they facilitate the landing of their essential partners in procreation. The shade and humidity given by the cork oaks, home oaks and other large trees characteristic of this forest provide the best environment for their growth. And young shoots brought by spring are a delicacy for the young rabbits which dare to venture outside the warren where they are born. But moving away from the safety of their underground shelter and the constant vigilance of the older rabbits also entails risks. With the arrival of the evening, one of the largest predators in the forest will go out hunting. The genet has spent the day dozing and is now hungry. It covers its territory in search of a trace of something to put in its mouth. And the fact is that almost anything will do: fruit, birds, reptiles, amphibians. But a tender young rabbit is a dish which it will not allow to get away. The genet again lives up to its reputation of being one of the most successful and unforgiving hunters in the forest. The spider does not need the agility nor the ultra-sensitive senses of this spotted cat. It makes use of its patience and the web it builds. Once the trap is laid, it only has to wait. The dragonfly's desperate attempts to escape are the very worst thing it can do. These vibrations run through the threads, telling the spider that its net has worked again. On this occasion it is not pressed by hunger, so it prefers to carefully pack it away and add it to its larder supplies. The Nat Jack Toad tadpoles now cram the pool with their tireless comings and goings. Their parents do not stay to look after them, so they have to fend for themselves. The aquatic plants feed them and hide them while they undergo the metamorphosis, which will eventually transform them into adult toads. But very few of them will complete this fascinating transformation. Because the same pool which offers them everything they need becomes an irresistible lure for parents with hungry children. With their bellies full of tadpoles, the storks return to their nests to fatten their insatiable chicks, which do not hesitate to batter them unceremoniously in order to make them regurgitate their catches. The storks are faithful to their mates and to the nest they have built together, which they repair as soon as they arrive from their wintering places. During breeding, whenever they find a sturdy tree which can withstand them, they like the company of other pairs, forming huge colonies. Black vultures, in contrast, are more inclined to solitude when raising their single chicks. These proud scavengers look for strong trees in open areas and some distance away from other pairs, to build a large nest which they will use throughout the year, not only during the season when the chicks are raised. Their long wings form the best sunshade to protect their young with. The black vulture chick will still be in the nest when summer arrives, so this task of providing shade is crucial for its survival. As far as its nest is concerned, the elusive bittern is the very opposite of the great builders such as the black vulture and the stork. It is enough for it to dig a small hole in the ground in open areas and forest clearings, where the eggs will be laid and incubated by both parents in turn. They will not actually use it very much. Within hours of being born, the chicks will flee the nest, entrusting their survival to the care of their parents and the capacity of their plumage to merge them into the environment. Spring is well underway, and the strength of the sun bothers the busy forest dwellers. It is fortunate that there is always a place to go and take a well-deserved break. Birds of all sizes go to these pools to drink and cool off, as well as for the no less essential task of keeping their plumage clean. While the heat announces the imminent arrival of summer in the valleys, the spring revolution still takes refuge on the heights. A 200-meter layer of ice covered this area during the last glaciation, shaping it with its erosive force. Today, it is the territory of the scrubland cricket and singular plants which existed long before the ice covered this gully. These are a type of orchid which, like the more than 20,000 other varieties which exist on the planet, trust their reproduction to the irresistible appeal of their flowers. This small glacial valley lies far away from the plains and forests at lower altitudes, but maintains an essential relationship with them. Throughout the winter, it becomes a snow collector which, during spring, sends the thawed water to feed the rivers and streams which sustain life below. Here, in the patches of Mediterranean forest, the main task in spring continues to be that of feeding and raising the family. Two red kites seem very happy after finding a dead rabbit. They do not even seem to notice the black kite observing them. They are bigger and stronger, and there are two of them, so why worry? The predatory activity is equally hectic in the wetlands. Spring is reflected in the abundance and effortlessness of the captures. Although, at times, this does not mean they will end up in the belly. After all, it may be more profitable to approach others more skilled in the art of fishing. The fact is that the heron is usually that which harasses other birds to take away their prey. But today, it has received a taste of its own medicine. The young of the cuckoo rollers certainly do not complain about having to eat the same thing all the time. These birds come from the southern Sahara to nest in the holes they find in the trees. They hatch their eggs there, and then they feed their chicks with a very varied diet, ranging from insects to small amphibians. Monotony is certainly banished from the table of the rattles. In the homes of these green woodpeckers, a momentous moment is about to occur. They have built them by drilling through the trunks with their beaks, using the chips of wood as a base for the nest where their young grow. They are so strong that not even the solidity of the large trees of this forest can withstand them. They are extremely elusive too. The slightest strange event immediately puts them on alert, sending them into hiding. Today, their offspring are giving them a particular reason to be nervous. A new generation of green woodpeckers dares to discover the world. A certain anxiety can also be perceived in the shapeless grey mass made up of the young flamingos. After they hatch, the chicks form large groups, watched over by a small number of adults. In this way, parents and children can separately and peacefully move around the marshland, sinking their peculiar beaks again and again into the water in order to filter the mud in search of any organic matter which might serve as food. In the home of the Black Vulture, there is still time for the big moment of the young to arrive. In the meantime, the baby vulture flutters its wings again and again in order to develop the muscles, allowing it to take to the skies for the first time. The young storks also perform the same preparatory gymnastics. When they finally manage to fly, they will not leave the nest where they were born and raised. They will return to it every night to sleep until all of them, adults and young, feel that the moment of undertaking the great annual migration has come. Like them, young of all the species feel the need to be free, to take the reins of their own existence. They symbolize the adventure of renewed life, which spills over onto the landscape. They are the best proof that spring has triumphed once again.